A movie came out recently, and
Oh, really?
I'm not talking about Judas and the Black Messiah, although I do need to watch that. A different black
Likewise.
movie, yeah, a different black movie came out on Netflix that many people have been cautiously optimistic for, called Malcolm and Marie, from director Sam Levinson, starring the beautiful and talented Zendaya and the handsome and talented John David Washington. Uh, and it apparently divided the internet. So
Yes.
let's talk about it. Full spoilers, balls deep. I'll give my thoughts and I'll go to you.
Okay.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. It is also immensely exhausting. I've never finished a movie and been so fucking emotionally tired at the end of it. What I think is very interesting in terms of how this is scripted and directed, it plays out way more like a play than it does a traditional movie. Which I really like. I would actually really, really like to see a stage adaptation of this. It sounds very, very easy to do. Um, and what made me notice this is aspects of the writing, because there are definitely a couple moments where I'm like, people don't talk with this specific verbiage, especially when they're upset. Um, but
Right.
what told me the former is that notice the movie's about a fight. Two people in love that have an argument. They don't often step over each other's dialogue like a traditional argument. That's a bit more of a theater thing. That's not to say you can't have, arguments on the theater, but the reason lines are generally a little bit more separated on theater is because when you're in the audience, those lines can get muddled. So it can be difficult to pick up on what everybody is saying. As opposed to in a movie, you can change audio levels and stuff like that. So it was an interesting choice. And I think it also lends credence to uh, what I noticed about the characters is despite all of their many, many, many flaws and many problems, they still love each other because they still listened to one another.
Mm,
Because at like throughout this whole argument, they walked away from each other, but never far enough to like leave the house, like leave that far from the house, or leave the argument entirely. They kept coming back to each other, and when they were going back and forth, they listened. They didn't really challenge the other like people that are really fed up. They just sat there and kind of took the brunt of it from one another. Um,
right. There's normally interrupting, especially with
yeah,
a black couple, like
right.
talking over. Nothing got thrown either. Nobody threw anything.
Nothing got thrown. They ate fucking ox mac and cheese from Kraft. I'm like, oh yeah, this is. I'm like, I might be. I get for Malcolm, it's like his favorite. I'm like, not a lot of niggas are like, I want to know. They loved it. Time to dig into this Kraft mac and cheese. I'm like, bro, not Velveeta. Shit, not no Velveeta shells, bro. Um, I really enjoy the black and white element. Actually, like I saw behind the scene photo, and I'm like, oh fuck, that's right. I forgot this movie was shot in color.
Oh, was
And
it?
uh, I mean, so you can't just like slap a to make it black and white good. You can't just like throw a monochrome filter on it as someone that throws monochrome filters on shit. So in order to make it actually good, you have to kind of set the levels of dark contrasting to white at different points in the film. It is an editing thing. And I do think it kind of helps focus in on the narrative and the argument itself. Like if you're lazy, yeah, you can just do it. But like the production behind the scenes photos, I forgot that color was like a concept because it didn't really play a role in the narrative. So when I saw them in
Right.
color, I'm like, oh yeah, fuck. Like they probably shot this movie in color. And then went back and did it in black and white. But I don't know. I could be wrong. They might have shot it in black and white. But yeah. I've heard a lot of critiques about the acting. I thought both of them were great,
Thinks
honestly.
about the acting. Ooh, but
Yeah,
they're both fantastic.
I thought they were too. A lot of people weren't jiving with John David Washington's performance, apparently.
What? He was
I thought he was
great.
good. Um, Funny enough, I think his best moment was the part that you probably could have taken out of the movie, and that was his, like, 10-minute monologue about the film industry. Now, here's the thing, I really like that monologue. I kinda wanna try it one day, just because it seemed like a
Mm,
fun challenge. Um, I think it makes a lot of good points. It's not exactly plot relevant. You could have probably edited that
no.
down.
No,
Um,
he's literally just going on a tangent.
he
I think that was the
he's
point
just
I
going
took
off.
out of the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, but, that said, Zendaya was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Um, that
Every
knife
single
s
scene.
that knife scene was a fucking masterclass. Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah, you
That
think she's
was
good in that. Like, just a small side note, because it's by the same creator. Did you watch the Rue special of Euphoria?
Oh, did you finish it? I still need to finish it. I need to finish Rue, and
I
I know they put out, what's her
Jules.
face? Jules. They put out Jules
Yeah.
recently, so I need to watch both of them. Like, I knew she was
The
good from Euphoria, but holy shit.
Yeah, she's fantastic. She's fantastic in that, and such a different character than Marie. But I
Which
guess,
they have a lot of overlap too. I mean, what are your thoughts on it?
oh man, I really, really enjoyed this movie. I think it did a great job of showing us characters that were lived in, and you can
Mhm.
tell they existed before they came on screen. Like there was clearly something that happened with them right before this had went down, and it doesn't. I don't feel like the movie spoon feeds you, but you learn about who these people are over the course of this almost 2 hours,
Yeah.
and you learn like why they love each other, why they hate each other, why they're toxic, their insecurities. And I know a lot of people say it's like a straight fight for 2 hours, but for I don't know, man. I feel like it kind of resonated with me in some ways, and I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing, but the fact that it'll be like fighting, arguing, and then sweet
Mhm.
tender moments and jokes, and then back on to fighting, and then sweetness and jokes, like that's how it be. That's how it be sometimes, man. And
Yeah.
like it's not the healthiest thing in the world, but it was
No.
real. It felt very authentic, and I felt like certain things. I will say that man, Zendaya's character, I felt like she can only be played by someone who's either mixed or white, because I don't know if any black woman I know would just sit in that tub as
Oh,
Malcolm was just
bruh.
talking about the different girls that he fucked.
The number of black women that I've heard speak about the film and said, "Oh, no, that nigga wouldn't have made it out the bathroom because I would have drowned him in the bathtub." Uh, and I'm like, "Yeah." And that was an interesting thing that I was thinking about is, um, because one thing I was initially kinda trepidatious about was the 12-year age gap, but then you realize it's kind of relevant for the character of Marie, and the plot and part of the characteristics of Malcolm as well. Um,
Yeah, he's a savior complex for like damaged people essentially,
yeah, and,
and
I guess it's interesting for me specifically because I relate to Malcolm in the sense that I have dated a lot of women that, by their description, not by mine, they describe themselves as fucked up or broken, um, because of stuff that happened in their history. So, for me watching that, it was how much of this is a savior complex and him trying to, like, get something, kind of artistically, and then how much of it is just a general attractive demeanor. Because some people just have a draw for certain types of people. And so I'm curious, I guess, for Malcolm is like, how much is of that how much of a role is he I think he plays a slight role in kind of enabling those types to keep them around. in his life, in those relate I think he's making a decision to stay with those people, but I also don't think he may be the only reason they're coming to him, you know?
Mm, you can elaborate on that point.
So kinda like because Malcolm has a solid background, you know, he has parents that were married that supported him, helped him fund his dreams. Like he's aside from being a massive fucking narcissist, like all things considered, he's an all right guy. He has a solid head on his shoulders. He's motivated. He's passionate. He has positive qualities about him that people who may have a little bit more of a dependent nature may kind of pull to. Now, I think in this situation, it's interesting because I think they both have really shitty attributes about them. And as a
Yeah,
result,
100%.
I think they're both a little dependent on one another in very, very different ways. Um, and
Yeah,
so
it's a very kind of not just toxic, maybe not symbiotic. What's the word? Codependent. There we go.
yeah,
Codependent
and
relationship.
and I saw a lot of people calling it toxic. And I'm like, it's certainly unhealthy. Uh, I think this was unhealthy, and I think the argument, you know, was not the healthiest. But one, it definitely touched on a lot of things that I've had in my personal life. There weren't even really arguments. Some of them were just like they could be heated back and forth. They were all like little things. Um, but in terms of just like Malcolm and his reactions and shit, Malcolm was taking some fucking low blows, man. God damn. Yeah, the whole bathtub scene. Shit.
That was fucked. She was
That
also
was
taking some low blows too, though.
true.
Like Marie, they both were.
Yeah, they were both hitting below the belt. And I think that's what made it hard to watch for a lot of people is that it was so raw. It was so vicious.
Yeah,
Uh and pretty inconsiderate. I think it's much harder for people to watch if they haven't experienced any sort of back and forth like this. I saw a lot of people where they couldn't finish it. Like a lot of black people couldn't finish it, which was interesting to me. Because that means that y'all are out here in healthy relationships. Praise God. I'm happy for you. I've been in some where there are moments of not healthy things. And I'm not discounting myself from that because I was definitely a part of, you know, the reason that some of the decisions and some of the conversations um went to the degree that they went to. Also, the thing that I think about the movie, so at the end of the day, the whole argument stems from the fact that Marie is not able to vocalize the fact that she feels underappreciated by Malcolm.
mm,
That's that's what I
yeah,
interpreted. Um, that's where all the arguments happen from, and that's what it boils down to by the time we get to the end of the movie. Is him showing his appreciation for her and the role that she plays in his life because he loves her, he really does, and she loves him. Um, I don't think him saying thank you at the award show would have fixed everything. I do
no,
think it would have pushed it off for a little bit. It would not have fixed it.
no, I agree. Yeah, no, this is the problem that's been brewing with the both of them, and
Mhm.
just that was the straw that broke the camel's back. Him not
Yep,
mentioning her in the speech.
yep. And I'm like, yeah, had he said thank you during the speech, it would have pushed it off. But she kept because she didn't know what it really, really, really was, she kept digging for other shit. Um, the one I think that really got me was when things were good. It was after he did the rant. They were vibing. It was good. They were talking. It was calm. They were about to have sex. And he's like, stay right there. I gotta go pee. He went to the bathroom. And I'm like, oh no. Did you get
Hmm.
the same thought of I know exactly what's gonna happen? Cause she's smiling, she's happy. he ain't gone for nothing but a minute and a half. And you see her smile fade. I'm like, no, no,
Yeah,
no. It's
I
some
already
more
knew.
shit. I was so mad when I saw the look on her face and I saw her happy. I'm just like, just think about the dick. Please think about the dick. Because I hate to say it, sex can hold off an argument.
Oh, for sure. Oh, thousand
Sex
percent.
sex can push off an argument. If he hadn't gone to pee, he would have been good. It would have been the same thing as him saying thank you. Had he, gotten them yammeroons and done what he needed to do, what he had been trying to do for like 2-3 hours, he would have been in the clear for at least a couple more weeks, maybe a couple months if he laid it down proper. But man, all it took was a peep for him to not be there physically, even though he was just around the corner. And as soon as he came back, why didn't you cast me in the movie, Malcolm? I'm like, fuck.
Oh,
I
it's
said,
always like that.
it's always
Like
some
girls, like
random
you,
shit.
right? Like you'll be talking, you'll be vibing, like you'll finish the argument, and so just like okay, you think it's over. Like wait, can I ask you something? Oh
Oh
shit!
shit. Can I ask you something? And that was the exact energy it was. It was the same energy. Can I ask you something real quick? No! You can't ask me shit. I just wanted some pussy. Damn. Golly. You know how passionate I'm getting right now? How much this like speaks to personal experience.
I know. I feel like
And,
that's it. If you've never been in a scenario like this may not be the
yeah.
movie for you.
And you could see it on Malcolm's face. You could hear this isn't just a man fuck. This is a specific guttural black man. God damn it. Argument's now over. I was about to get some pussy, damn it. That's a fuck. I was so close. Like a next week. And
Wait, did he
I
say
really
that? Did he
felt
say
Malcolm a lot in
damn?
this movie. No, I think he was like, I think he'd just say, yeah, what's up? Because I know he was hoping it would be some other shit. He was hoping it was going to be, oh, did we forget some groceries? Or, oh, you want to eat my ass tonight? He was hoping, he was praying to God it was something else, anything else. Then he gets hit with this fucking random ass curveball. Why didn't you cast me in the movie? Son of a bitch. God damn it. Now you got to explain. Now you got to make some shit up.
Right. I wish we
Nah,
would have got
baby.
to see I wish we would have gotten to see more of the reason. Like they told us why they fall in love and we could see they have good chemistry and they
Mhm.
know how to keep each other in check. But I think
Yeah.
I would have liked to see more of why they fell in love in the first place.
That
I think
that that would have
that would have
helped I think flesh out. I think that would have helped a lot of other people kind of understand it. Like I can see it because it's in a lot of things of what wasn't done. Like they weren't throwing stuff. They were taking the whole movie is like verbal and emotional or verbal and psychological like abuse techniques to like
yeah.
either neg or gaslight or diminish uh one another, but it never got physical. Like as physical as it got was him aggressively eating that fucking mac and cheese, bro. Why was
Right.
he was eating that with the same energy he would have had on Marie. Because remember when she was in the kitchen and he was starting to bite on her linens and shit? I'm like, and that was when I'm just like, side note, can we talk about the fact Zendaya is very much a grown ass woman?
Yeah, that she is.
Shit. I think that this is what she really needed, I think. I know the casting of Marie with that age gap is very much deliberate because it's also a sign of Malcolm's character that he enters a relationship with somebody with a very noticeable age gap. Um, I think it is very much a power thing. But he doesn't, I
Mhm.
don't think he realizes it. Like I do think he genuinely loves and cares for Marie. I also do think there is a bit
In
of
his
a
own way.
yeah, I think he does in his own earnest way. I do also think a 20 something vulnerable ex drug addict is a little bit easier to kind of nudge along in certain areas, you know? Uh,
Right. Maybe
to
she
kind
felt
of
like a debt to him because he's the
Mhm.
person who brought her from the darkness.
Yeah. So I don't think he knows it, but I think it's kind of a manipulation thing, and the age definitely plays a role in it. Because I think I don't think it would have worked as well if Marie was, like, 34. I think
No.
it would have been much darker and a lot sadder. Um, as weird as this sounds, I think the gap kinda shows a different type of unaware it shows a level of unawareness that he has to
Right.
the kind of negative things that he does. Um,
Yeah, I feel like he may be smart in terms of being a filmmaker, but
mhm.
he's not smart emotionally.
Right. He doesn't have a lot of, emotional knowledge, and I think that's a thing that a lot of guys can kind of relate to with Malcolm, is that there will be, talking about straight guys here, dating women, you'll have a situation with a girl or a woman, and you won't know where you fucked up. You just know something's fucked up. And I
Hmm.
heard a couple discussions saying it's like, well, why did he keep pressing it? It's like, because you're still gonna be irritated by this. And I want we're fixers. A lot of men want to solve the problem. The thing is
Right.
that the problem is it's not like a shelf or a heater. It's an emotional thing. It's your woman feels neglected, emotionally and disconnected from you and doesn't feel appreciated. Which I that's valid. That's fair. Um, he wants to know how to fix that. Part of Marie's problem is that she's not good at verbalizing her emotions. And Malcolm's not good at being aware of other people's emotions. So that makes for a fight. Wherein we get that amazing knife scene. But am I the only one that said the same shit as Malcolm when she went through that whole diatribe? Was like, that's what fucking authenticity looks like. And I'm looking at the movie, I'm like, bitch, where was this during the audition? I was so irritated. I'm like, so you had this in the canister the whole time and you didn't audition. Well, you didn't ask me to. You're a strong, independent woman. If you don't shake your skinny ass down to this. God damn. I had to really think about myself because there are a lot of moments where I like was understanding Malcolm's side. Now, granted, that shit he was doing in the bathtub, that was shisty. Talking about, yeah, I fucked her on the heart shaped bed with the rose petals by the hot tub. I'm like, damn, nigga, okay, shit. I
Right.
think she gets
Just
it.
just going in deep in the details. I'm like, damn. And then, I think I love that monologue because it starts off from such a low, sinister place, and then he turns it into like a encouraging, sweet, fucked up thing by
Yeah.
the end of it. I was like, that was wild. What just happened?
Also, him talking about I could snap you like a twig. And you can tell
Yeah.
Marie paying attention because she brought that's the worst shit too. When you hear old shit in an argument. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what was that, Malcolm? A threat? You could snap me like a twig. It's like, oh, bitch, you know I didn't mean it. Damn it. Take the thing seriously. Like
I said that.
you
Oh,
think I'm gonna
you
actually fuck around and try and kill you? No, stupid. I was upset. Because you ain't doing nothing but you had an attitude making noodles. Clearly something is up.
right.
And like that's like it that's why this is like so draining, I think, just because a lot of this really it just really resonated. Like, and it's not that they both got issues. Like
Yeah.
Marie whole ass, not only during her time in rehab, she cheated on this nigga.
But yeah, the thing is, okay, that was my confusion because they confirmed that she cheated on him, and then when she's doing the fake monologue thing, where he thought it was real, she
Mhm.
said she fucked multiple of his friends. I'm like, wait, so was that real? Did she actually fuck multiple different friends of his, like, throughout the course of their relationship? Because
Hey,
that's fucked
hey,
up.
cheating is cheating. All right.
True, but okay,
Zendaya
one friend
Zendaya shook her
cheating.
fine ass on somebody else, and that's a problem.
Okay, there's cheating with a stranger, cheating with someone's friend, and there's cheating with like all your boys. Like that's like good.
She fucked the squad.
You fucked the whole squad,
Let's call the boys. Let's run a train.
bro.
Oh my god. Um, yeah, either way, like it's but what's also interesting is what she pointed out is that he wouldn't care if she was on like somebody else's arm. And I'm like, I didn't see that as a problem. I'm like, well, that just means he's really secure in his manhood. It's like most guys would be like, hey,
She
hey,
wants
hey.
him to care. I think that's the thing.
Yeah, and she did, but I'm just like that one at least that one specific thing. I'm like, why would you be upset? Is like that means you don't is like that means to me, I guess, as a man, that that dude who you might be linking arms with or hanging out with or hugging, he's not a threat to me or my relationship. You're coming home with me.
Right.
So I
Exactly.
think that's more secure. But I also think it's what you said. She wants him. I think overall she wants him to care. I think that's more of a minor thing too. She's like, was like, you wouldn't even react if I show up with another. It's like, well, first of all, you already cheated. So, eh. Secondly, I'm not them. Fuck them niggas. they it's like I don't care about them because they're not me. You're coming home with me and we finna fuck. And you know what
Right.
happens afterwards? You make me my Kraft mac and cheese. Who's winning here? Not that dusty bitch. Like, it's like I get to take home the fine ass girl after having a bomb ass movie premiere and eating my delicious bowl of mac and cheese. The fuck am I worried about some weird rando in a suit who has his arm by you? Ooh. It's like I got you through um all your I got you through your drug issues. I got you through rehab. I got you through relapse. I got you through trying to kill yourself with some skizzers. Like, if I can deal with that, you think another nigga scares me? Absolutely the fuck not. Now, granted, that's also a little bit of ego. And that's part of Malcolm's problem. He's a narcissist.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Mark, he sees not that he sees himself, but he's so wrapped up in himself that it's hard for him to have room for her as like a
Mhm.
full person in his thing because he'll just say shit to set her off, and he don't even
Yep.
realize what he did because he doesn't view his actions as problems.
Yeah, exactly. It's just so good. And there's so many like beautiful shots in this movie too.
Yeah,
God damn.
beautiful shots, great monologues, and I felt like yeah, it was a play in the way that it was only two actors in one location, but I felt like the dialogue felt so authentic that
Mhm.
it felt like real people talking, despite the fact that they never really interrupted each other. I was like, I believe these are
Mm.
people. I wholeheartedly believe that I'm a fly on the wall watching this couple's argument,
I think
which is a
m-
testament to the writer.
I think most of the dialogue felt human. There are definitely a couple lines and a couple bits of the monologue where it didn't bother me. It was just more of an acknowledgement. I'm like, okay, this is the writer speaking more so than the character in certain aspects of the dialogue. But there
That
are the most of the dialogue it didn't bother me, but I could tell a bit of a difference between I know that John David and Zendaya had input on the dialogue as well. So they kind of like
okay.
punched it up and alternate a little bit too to make it a little bit, more flowy. There are just moments where I'm just like, okay, this is the character speaking, and then there are a couple times I'm just like, this is a writer. Like anytime he was starting to go off about
Hollywood
credit Hollywood and again, I
and
actually
critics.
can we talk about the critic thing too? I think that was I know the movie's about like the argument in the relationship, and I love that part. The breakdown of not just criticism, but the lack of freedom for black creators to create, without it becoming
Politicized.
about size, exactly. I think, especially coming from a white writer, the
Yeah,
amount of insight to that is so nuts to me, only because not only do I agree, I know a lot of black artists that feel the same. I know a lot of, I have a good friend of mine who's a black playwright, and a lot of one of her big things is breaking away from the Eurocentric convention of storytelling and writing styles, and kind of unlearning what we consider, quote unquote, the classics and stuff like that, and moving and expansion of narrative and whatnot. And I think that entire speech really made me think of her, um, just in terms of, yeah, it does seem like there's not a lot, and I think it's very, very, very slowly but surely changing. There's not a lot of freedom for black authentic creation to be held as great creations without involving the aspect of the political nature of it. In most cases, there are very, very few examples. Like one I can that
hmm
actually comes to mind is the Underworld franchise,
yeah.
the vampires and werewolves. So that is actually a creation of a black man, a actor, a voice actor, very talented at both, and I think he's a bioengineer or a biochemist named Kevin Graveau.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like that
Hmm.
story, those characters. A black man created that. Black man created the Super Soaker. um,
Oh, I didn't know that. That's
yeah,
funny.
yeah, yeah. Funny side note. We've created a lot of very interesting things. And but I think art is kind of one of the last ones where as we're trying to amplify black voices. I think it's hard for a lot of people, and sometimes even for us, with how social media functions. It can be difficult to kind
Yeah.
of open space for a creation to ascend past just the color of skin tone. It always has to mean something to the community. Like, it let's say a black man directed The Lighthouse.
Mm.
Same cast, same movie. Somehow the concept of race is still going to get brought up in discussion of like the creation of the film or the discussion of the definition or impact behind it. Um, I always had an idea for well, not always, but recently I had an idea for I would be interested to see a movie, a love story, um, about black culture and black social dynamics told through the lens of Japanese people. I just think that would make for a
Mm.
very, or Korean people, one of the two. I thought it would make for a very, very interesting parallel to how you would convey beliefs and uh uh not eccentricities, but like minor things about a certain group shown through the lens of another group. I thought it'd just be a very interesting kind of narrative challenge. But I mean, what do you kind of think about the whole critique and kind of its connection as well to race and everything, as somebody else who is also in the arts?
Yeah, I think it is interesting the fact that it I think it can be done, but it's a smaller margin,
Mhm.
because there's that pressure as a black creator for it to be something race related, And I'm working on a project right now that it has nothing to do with race. And like say if it
Right.
did get more eyes on it, I don't know if it would be viewed that way, but because it is coming from a black man, it very well could be. And right after I watched the movie, I was talking with somebody, and they said they gave the movie and the writer slash director the side eye because they didn't know until afterwards that the
Is white.
writer and director is white. Yeah, So they felt that they used a black character to voice their grievances with the movie. To not with the movie with they used the movie and the character of Malcolm to get out their own frustrations about Hollywood and try to use like the guise of a black man
Mhm.
to use as validation for that, which I didn't feel that way, but I was thought it was interesting that they did. I thought it was just the writer truly kind of living in someone else's shoes. I did
Mm.
hear that Sam Livington did get critic hate on some. I can't remember what project it was, but he may have had a similar
Oh,
experience
I think it was
to what Malcolm
Assassination
was.
Nation. He got a lot of pushback. I don't think it had the best reception.
Yeah, so maybe that's what Malcolm might have been. What people considered to be Malcolm channeling
Yeah.
that writer's frustration based off of a project of his or a past project.
I think what makes it kind of hard, because I understand where your friend is coming from, but the thing is, I still think Sam is right. I think that the where the side eye is coming from, I get it. But at the same time, I don't side eye it because I still agree. I think it's just kind of the messenger of it is hard. So it's like how it's almost like an outsider critiquing something from the inside. But I think this is one of the very, very, very rare moments where the person saying this is smart enough to have something to say that isn't um that isn't like a negative critique on black culture. Or it's not like, oh, you need to he's not saying black artists need to act like this in order for their art to be seen as non-political. He's just saying, why is it that every time a black creator creates something, it is automatically political? And I think he's right. I just think that
Right.
because he's a white man, it's a little bit harder of a pill to swallow, which I can get. It's like if I had, a comment to make regarding the gay community, um, about like maybe something along the lines of, I don't know, fucking it's like it might be a little bit more difficult for gay men to have relationships because men have difficulty with emotional connection. That might not sound too good coming from me, but it might be a thing where a lot of people agree with that. It's the
Right.
messenger. It's the messenger of it. But I think still at the end of the day, he's posing a good question. I think he's right. I really long for that day, honestly, and I'm glad we're getting more exposure to black creations because I am woefully, and I've expressed this multiple times on this show. I'm incredibly, incredibly tired of black narratives being solely about race. It's one of the reasons I love The Photograph so much is because it's a love story from a black perspective, but it's not about them being black. It's just like they're black, so their conversations and their mannerisms and the way that they're shot is going to be a little bit different. Similarly with this movie, this is a movie about love featuring black people. The way they talk and to a light degree, the way they interact is a little different. Now, if this movie was directed by a black man, I can guarantee you there would be a lot of very different things, and written by a black man. Those would certainly change a couple things in terms of the cultural nuance in terms of how our men and women communicate. Um, that I was also thinking about, and I guess I'm curious about your thoughts. And I know you touched on it earlier. Do you think the impact would have been the same for Marie's character had she been dark skinned? Because I'm not saying that Marie couldn't be dark skinned. I do think the reception to her character might have been a little bit more fervent because I think people would have associated her with being an angry black woman because of the
Yeah.
color of her skin. I
Yeah,
I
no.
wanted to get
I
a second
think
opinion on that because I'm like, yo, what if Ryan Destiny played her? Because she's around Zendaya's age. I'm like, ooh, it wouldn't read that well.
right. No, my the person I was talking to was saying that she in her head could have seen the girl from Queen and Slim playing it, but
Mhm,
again, goes back to that it might have gotten that stereotype, or it might have
mhm.
because of that casting, having a more dark skinned woman would have made it political, quote unquote, even
Yep.
though it wouldn't have. So the fact that it was
Wasn't
Zendaya,
supposed to, but it
who's a
would have.
right, yeah, and I was so I feel like the fact that she is light skinned, like I think, yeah, I think someone who is mixed and light skinned or white or of any other race could have played Marie. But even though Zendaya killed it, but if it was
Yeah.
a darker skinned black woman, it would have been political simply because of the shade and tone of her skin,
I,
or
I,
perceived as political rather.
right. Because like Ryan Destiny is a great actress, and there's plenty of young, super talented actors with darker skin in Hollywood. I do think with Marie's character being, a former drug addict, someone who's in a potentially manipulative relationship, and also somebody who was in an argument for the whole movie. I don't think the optics of it would have been good had she not again, not saying it couldn't have been done. I just think there would have been it would have exactly what you said. It would have immediately become political because it's like, why does the dark skinned girl have to be angry? It's like, well, it wasn't about that. It was about the fight. So I think part of the point of the movie might have unfortunately gotten muddled down because we're not there yet. We're working on it.
Ooh, because this is a play. Okay, so we know that Malcolm has to be a black man within the context of the story, and because if
Yes,
it's two
because of his
characters,
tirades.
right, and because there's two characters,
Mm.
and because it feels like a play, I was trying to think who else could play Malcolm and Marie. Like if
Now,
the like an alternate universe, who would be the
yeah.
other actors to play
Well,
them?
go also with what you said. I actually don't think you could have done another race with him.
Not with him, no. He has to be a black man. I'm talking about Marie. Marie's the only one that can be
No,
changed.
no, I mean for Marie. I don't think you could change Marie's race. And here, I think for this narrative, I think because Malcolm is black, and many of his points and his tirades have to do with his acknowledgement of his race. I think there might be a slight disconnect. She can't be white and have him yelling about race. Um,
But you think she has to have some level of understanding with
I
her
think
also being black?
I think there has to be a level of yeah, yeah, level of I'm not saying these circumstances if we're separating them individually, yeah, I think having a young uh, you know, drug ex addict character, that could be any race. Malcolm, yes, he has to be black. Malcolm and Marie as a unified project, I think they both have to be black. If it was just like the Marie movie, she could probably be any race. I don't
Hmm.
think her race is as tied to the aspects of her character and her creativity as it is for Malcolm. Because that's another thing is that Malcolm also plays against the traditional stereotype of like a dark skinned man against like the expected stereotypes of one as well. I think that's another factor to it. But going into what you said, yeah, alternate universe, Malcolm and Marie, who could it be? What do you think about Kiersey Clemens? She just came to mind.
Lucy Clemens. Okay, she's the girl from who's she was supposed to be
Iris
Iris,
West.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. She was in a
Okay, interesting.
she was in Dope, and she did a horror movie on an island that I really like. She's a good actress. Because I was thinking about my brain immediately went to like the go-to light skins like Yara Shahidi, and it's like, no. I don't think she's bad. I I've
And
yet to see her kind of show the level of like range like I've seen in Zendaya, but I've also only seen her on like Grownish and Blackish. So I haven't
you know
seen
who
her
my
like
mind went to? Zoe Kravitz.
damn, that'd be It would have had to be Zoe Kravitz a couple years ago, but yeah.
A couple years ago. Why you say that?
How old is she now? I still think the age thing plays a factor because isn't she like 30?
Because she looks young now.
Because that's because her and Zendaya have slightly so that's another thing is a lot of people couldn't take
Oh,
Zendaya
she's
seriously.
32.
She's 32, so it had to be Zoe Kravitz a couple years ago. Saying she couldn't do it.
Because
Here's the
she's
thing.
slender, she's light skinned.
Yeah,
I would believe that she was a recovering drug addict.
right, right. Okay, so I think if you did that, you'd have to push the age with it too. So you'd have to have somebody in like their 40s to play
Oh,
against her.
okay.
Right.
Dang,
So
I was
I think the age gap still has to be a factor. Um,
right. Fuck.
it
Okay,
it'd
because I was
scale.
gonna say,
You
fuck,
think
because
Yaya
now they're
could
too
do it?
close. Yaya's too old. I mean, Yaya's not old enough.
How old is Yaya? Yeah, he's in his 30s, isn't he?
Uh, yeah.
He is. Yeah, he's 34. Is he
Okay.
younger than her? Wait a minute.
No, no, no. She's 32. He's a couple years
Oh, okay, okay,
older.
okay, okay. But yeah,
Okay.
so it'd have to be like a good uh older chap.
Because
Um,
originally I was thinking like maybe like Daniel Kaluuya or Michael B. Jordan or something.
yeah. Yo, you
They're
know
more.
what would actually be wild? Can you imagine
Hmm.
Zoe Kravitz and God rest his soul, Chadwick Boseman?
Oh man.
'Cause I can't
Ooh, that would be good. I will admit that those two could have been good together.
because Chad has I can hear it right now, him going off about I can see him as angered artist and going on the tirade too. Like just the fire would brim from that. That shit would go crazy. Him and Zoe
Ooh,
Kravitz as Malcolm and
you
Marie.
know, you know who I just thought of was another Malcolm and Marie. Okay, Marie, Zoe Kravitz, right?
Mm.
Malcolm, Sterling K. Brown.
Fuck. Damn, Sterling is good. He's really
Right?
good.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, no, you know, it'd be wild. This is just a random one. Can you imagine Jonathan Majors as as Malcolm?
Jonathan
But
Majors.
he taking off his shirt every 5 minutes. Damn it, Marie! And he's just jumping.
He's get a new shirt every time.
Because Malcolm was drinking the whole time, but instead he's just changing shirts throughout the whole movie. Go
Like
through
no,
7 different shirts.
right. Every for like in this version, every time Malcolm takes a drink,
Changes
instead
his
of
shirt.
drinking, he changes his shirt. He's doing push-ups.
Oh, start doing push-ups. Malcolm, what are you doing? Damn it. Ugh.
Marie. He's just yelling Marie as he's doing
Marie.
his.
Marie. Marie. Bitch. Next thing you know, a frying pan coming at him. I wish that nigga would. I'm waiting for the day to hear Zendaya say the N-word. I feel like she might have did it on the Euphoria and I forgot.
Maybe
My
I could
my
see
ears
it.
stay perked up. I'm like, is she gonna say it? We're gonna hear the Disney girl say the gamer word. I was waiting in this movie for her to like flip out for a second. It's like, nigga, you just don't listen to me. Like I was waiting for it and it never happened.
Damn.
They're all like even keeled every time. It's like, Malcolm, you just don't understand what you're doing. You're negligent. I'm like, damn, bitch, what yell at
Right.
me. But don't call me,
Maybe
negligent and shit.
she said
Don't
he
use
was
your adjective.
mediocre.
Yeah,
She said he was a
bruh.
mediocre artist.
Yeah.
Ooh.
When he went to the to the glass, it was like, what you mean mediocre?
Right.
Which I'm like, I get he really not dead ass knocked on the glass. Hey, what you mean by mediocre?
Right. You mean that shit? You really
I
think
didn't
that
really
about
mean that,
me?
did you? I mean, it was
She
tight.
got his ego for a second. She hit him in the
Yeah.
ego. He go, ooh.
That's what she had to do. They both kind of had an ego about him too. Cause like
Oh yeah.
I was definitely irritated when she acted her whole ass off. That's what authenticity gets you. The fuck was this? We were trying to shoot the movie 12 months ago. Why didn't you do this shit then? Also,
Right.
okay. Uh, him talking about his inspiration. I know a lot of people were like, "Well, he pulled a lot from her narrative." I'm like, he pulled from these other girls too. Fuck,
No, he
are they
did.
chopped liver? Like, yeah, he might have taken he took a bit about she helped him punch up the script. That's fair. She helped him reread all 100 whatever drafts. That's fair. But the inspiration for Imani, um, you know, that wasn't just you, girl. I've dated some other broken Johns in here, okay? So you and I know what he was trying to do with that. He's trying to be like, "You're not so special, yo. You you just part of the collection, sis." Like, you're not the
All
only one to
right.
play the role. And like again, not the right thing to do. However, I do think it is a valid point that you are not the only inspiration for this. Do you deserve credit? Yes. For helping, a lot of the core things about her going to rehab and trying to cut herself with some nail scissors. It's valid. It's valid. But also, you aren't the only one. You were 70%. I will give you
Right.
your 70%. The other 30, that are some old hoes.
I was just out hoeing. Damn. Yeah, man. I think that I know you. They definitely had a problematic relationship. Who
Mhm.
knows? Maybe she'll call him a nigga in Malcolm and Marie too.
What the hell is that about? They fighting over the baby?
They fighting over the baby. They fight on their wedding day.
God damn. I don't think I could take a second one because, like, here's the thing. I really like this movie. It's gonna
You
be
don't
a
think we'll
good
watch it
long.
again?
It's gonna be a while before I watch it again. I might actually have to watch it with somebody. Um,
Yeah,
for
that's
the
the only way
second
I'd
go
watch it again too.
round. But like, here's the thing: to watch it the first time, watch it alone. This is not a movie you want to watch the first time with somebody because that's how the fight began.
I watched it with my 17-year-old sister.
Oh, I mean, like a not with a romantic partner.
Right? No, yeah, don't do that.
Because the minute Marie starts saying some shit, you just gonna hear, she got a point. And it's like, oh shit, I'm not
Oh
gonna have this
shit.
fight. It's like, you know what? As a matter of fact, Jamal, there's a couple things I got an issue with you. It's like, oh fuck. Remember that time at my sister's wedding? It's like, fuck. Can we watch the movie? You know what? We're turning this off. We're gonna watch Girlfriends or some shit. Something happy.
Don't be starting this shit.
Oh, this is a movie. You watch it the first time by yourself. The second time, yeah, you can maybe watch that with somebody, have a nice, engaging conversation. I would not want the fight that comes with this movie. This shit, this this is a fuck around movie playing with your emotions. You come out mad, tired. You not even like I'm not even in the house, and I was exhausted. A fight with Marie.
Right. Like I need to walk off.
Yeah, I gotta fight the air and kick the grass. That shit was silly. That was some
That
silly shit.
was.
I'm swinging at the air and shit, fighting ghosts.
Well, if you don't go sit down somewhere.
Like, bro, what the hell was that? It's like I ain't never. I've I've punched doors in private, but I ain't never punched grass.
Right. He's he's fighting. He's fighting the air with his life.
He literally fighting his demons.
Damn, these demons got hands. Shit.
Yeah. I'll fight my demons. I ain't gonna lie, them demons got hands though. Oh shit. Any other things we want to talk about with Malcolm and Marie? I mean, it's a great movie.
It's a great movie. No, I think we talked it to bed.